we seem to have cured the freeze. That's about the fourth week on the bounce when it hasn't frozen. Oh, I'm looking rather kind of illuminated here. Let me just calm that down. Not that much. There we go. I think we'll maybe a bit more. There we go. That'll do. It's not like we're. It's not like I'm Spielberg, is it? Look at me, by the way. Check me out in my posh new chair. You saw it last week. I've been getting used to it more and more this week. Sometimes feel all I need is a cat, and I'd be like Blofeld. Although with Dougal in the house, a cat wouldn't be a very good idea. Anyway, cheers everyone. It's Friday. It's rolled around again. The Fattercasters are here. By the way, before I take a slip of my beer, let's just move this out the way. If you've purchased one of these fine pieces of clothing, then send me a picture of yourself wearing. Send me a little selfie, jrguitartuition@gmail.com, and we'll start kind of putting like a little section in the show about, with you showing me your guitars. You might as well show me when you show off the T-shirts that you bought. Cheers, everyone. Good health. Oh, dear me. On the Heineken, as usual, this week, which will keep a certain Mr. Toonan happy if he's in the chat. Speaking of that, Jimmy James is saying, only T-shirts? Well, if you bought something else that's got the Fattercasters thing on it, because I think I forgot when you put something up on Teespring, or Spring as it's now called, you just upload the logo, and it just kind of fires that off at all kinds of things. I think there's probably hoodies and might even be phone cases. I don't know what. But yeah, if you bought something with this on it, and I will just once again apologise for the cost of these things. I am looking at alternative print-on-demand suppliers because 30 quid for a T-shirt. Even I think that's a bit steep, but out of that 30 quid, I see about 7. And that's just the way it is, unfortunately. So I am investigating ways of bringing the price down a little bit. And let's get on to the usual thing this time of day. Let's have a look and see who was first in. Oh, Rent to Kill, pole position once again, mate. It's been some time, hasn't it? And then we've got Terry Day and Amadeus. And then there's Dave Fiendish and Anton. Peter Nicholson is there, so Steve Entwistle, Cylon Hybrid, Mark Kerno, and Theme Tunes. Then we've got Otto Geddon 1, Dave Snack Stevens. He's off out to a gig tonight, so he's just popped in to say hello. Have a good gig, mate. You'll probably watch it on Catch Up. Hope you had a good gig. We've got Cushman NYC, Peter Collins, Johnny Random, Boulder 64, and Savvy 64 as well. A lot of 64s in here. Calby and the Rocco Cat, Timbo is in, so is Relaxing Meditation, Peter S, Malcolm Thompson, Malcolm Spillett, Ian Mason, Jimmy James, John Ross, PFY Guitars, Grandpa Joe, greetings fellow Fattercasters, it may be Friday the 13th, I'd forgotten yet, it's actually 13th. However, luck shines through with another Beer O'Clock Friday, wishing everyone a happy Friday and weekend. Well, I'll second that, Joe. Yes. Not being of a particularly superstitious nature, I don't kind of take any notice of things like Friday the 13th or black cats and anything like that. It's not on my radar, so I hadn't noticed. Then we got Dr. Gomez 1, we've got Johnny D, we've got David James, we've got Stu 1950. 9 a.m. here. I've been known to have a hydraulic breakfast in my younger days, but now it's coffee and Irish cream. Well, good for you, mate. Yes, that's always the Christmas morning breakfast or cup of coffee for us in this house. We have this tradition called gunfire, which is coffee or tea, whichever is your choice, with a healthy slug of rum in it. And that just gets you off to a flying start for Christmas Day. Then we've got Paul Trainer, we've got Stephen Hedger, we've got, let's have a look, Chris Ottowell, we've got Nathan, we've got, scroll down, Pablo Hank is in, so is 60s Man, Calby and the Rocco Cat, there's Sean House, Maria Muggs Davies, Michael Purcell, and there's Carl Tom, local lad. Darren Myers is in. Darren's got a lesson with me tomorrow, so yeah, Darren, if I'm not that responsive in the lesson, we know what to blame, can't we? You saw Darren in a video a little while ago when I did a bit of a video on how to set up for a guitar lesson on Zoom. Then who else we got? We got Robert Forsyth. Let's have a look. Is that Bill Mumbo? And Austin Barrett is in. So is Cal Texper, I beg your pardon. Colin Falcon and the Essex Cat and Gary Shaw and Johnny and Peter Shields. William Forrest is there. So is Jay Aoyong, Jamal123. Mickey Walnuts is there. Mr. Chris 5254 and Ravensmead as well. Brad Dowell joins us. So does James Falcon and Ben Allmark, John Channing and Chris Smith. Who else have we got? We've got Searching for Tone. Sargi is in, so is Peter Williamson. And let's have a look. Mississippi Blues, how are you, mate? There's Berry Krautboy. I always want to say Barry Krautboy, but it's Berry Krautboy, isn't it? David Evans, Jim Brennan guitar. And let's have a look. Frank Bolam is there, so is... I've got some new glasses, by the way, so I can read the screen from further away. Starlancer and Jeff Benner and Jeff Rock. And I think that pretty much takes care of it. 136 souls on board at the moment, which isn't bad going for the way things are going on YouTube at the moment. I know one or two other YouTuber pals have been, bemoaning the fact that views are down at the moment, and when views go down, revenue goes down. And yeah, I think it's just a kind of a thing, really. It's the kind of back end of the kids' summer holidays. I think some of them have gone back and some of them haven't, but I think it's like a lot of families do that thing right at the end of the kids' holidays. They maybe go away for a little short break just before the kids go back. It's a thing I've noticed over the last few years that summertime the views and the revenue tends to go down. So if you're on YouTube, if you've got a channel and you've been noticing the same thing, take it from an old hand at this. I've been doing this. Well, I started taking the channel seriously when in 2018. I think that's when I started regularly uploading. Ever since that's 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 and 24. That's 7 years. Kind of inclusive. I've noticed every summer that it tends to fall off a cliff a little bit. So I'm not worried, but I'm just saying that 130 odd of us gathering here for a bit of chat and a drop of beer on a Friday. That's a nice number, isn't it? I'm quite chuffed with that. Cheers, everyone, by the way. Now, I noticed somebody in the chat there. Sorry, I can't remember who it was talking about those new Gibson Victory guitars. I'm quietly excited about those, I must admit. Why? Because I have happy memories of Gibson Victory guitars from the early 80s. Not that I owned one, because I didn't. Because in the early 80s, I was an adolescent. In 1980, I was 13 years old. So, how many 13-year-olds in 1980 would have owned a Gibson guitar of any description? But what I did have was a stash of guitar porn, Gibson catalogues and Gibson dealership catalogues, and probably my prized possession was a DiMarzio catalogue that had loads of pictures of gorgeous looking guitars in it with, kind of to show off the pickups. And in one of these catalogues, can't remember which it was, but there was a whole page of these Gibson Victory guitars. And I've thought for a long time that they are just such a good-looking guitar. And, they're sort of a little bit of a forgotten model in Gibson's history, and I'm kind of quite pleased that they brought them back. I won't be buying one because they will be ridiculously expensive. I haven't checked out any of the prices yet, but it's a Gibson, so, it's it's going to be ruinously expensive. But ask yourself this: what always follows a successful guitar from Gibson USA? There's an Epiphone version. I would, and I've been saying this in when we get to sort of December or January, when I usually do a video about the things I'd like to see coming up in the coming 12 months. You know, I always do like a video, like 5 things I'd like to see in the next 12 months. And for a few years now, I've always said, you know, an Epiphone version of the Gibson Victory series. You got to be careful what you wish for, though, because I did kind of have on my wish list for many a year an Epiphone Gary Moore Greenie guitar, and they brought it out, and I don't know, it didn't. Apart from the price, which I think is, you know, a 4-figure price tag for an Epiphone, I think is just, you know, kind of just asking a bit much. Let's put it that way. I think it's taking the mickey. You know, I was going to say something else then, but it's not an appropriate price point for an Epiphone, in my humble opinion. It smacks of profiteering a little bit. So that's why I didn't get one of the Epiphone Greenies. But I'm hoping that the Victory guitars come out and I can get my hands on one at least to you know, to basically give it a try. Let's have a look, see what I've missed in the chat. Jeff Rock saying, we had a Columbus Les Paul, John. Ian Mason saying 1800 for Andertons. Okay. Is that for the Gibson? Well, it must be, because they haven't announced an Epiphone one yet, to my knowledge at least. Yeah, bot views being removed, says Calby in the Rocco Cat. Could be, mate, could be. Loads of great channels out there, so it's harder to get any attention at all. Well, I don't know. I mean, people bang on about this mythical thing, the YouTube algorithm, you know, and you've got to do this to please the algorithm. You've got to do that to please the algorithm. It doesn't even appear as a blip on my radar. I just make the videos I want to make, and if they fly, they fly, and if they don't, they don't. It can be a little bit disappointing when you made a video that you're proud of and you put a lot of work into, and it doesn't, you know, kind of get the views that you would hope it does. But, you know, that's just the nature of the beast. You just, you know, it's a roll of the dice every time you upload a video. And, you know, I just have the philosophy that, you know, just keep on chucking darts and one of them will hit the bullseye. That's what got this channel monetized. You know, from 2008 to 2018, I had 10 years, a good solid 10 years, I had zero traction on this channel, and it was just something that was like a daft little hobby for me. I would just go and I'd upload a video once a month and maybe to get 40 views or something. And then in 2018, one video just went whoosh, took off, got the channel monetized, and has led me to where we are today. So it's a lottery, and that's the way I treat it. The other thing, of course, is that, you know, it gets the main reason why I started making YouTube videos in the first place was to generate customers for my bread and butter business, which is, you know, sitting blethering away into this webcam on Zoom calls doing guitar lessons. So, I see we've got Mr. Lamb in. Sorry, I missed your live the other night because I was working, and it's of all of the live streams, Lammy's is the one that you really want to be there for. So go and check it out on a Monday evening, UK time. I'll tell you what, Lammy, let me, because you did this for me a little while ago. I just need to turn that off and go over to the YouTube side of things, because I'm viewing this in StreamYard. And where is the lamb? I'm going to make there you go, Lammy. Consider yourself a moderator. Chuck a link in the in the chat there for your live stream, your channel, whatever. And if you're not familiar with Lammy's live stream on a Monday, you need to go and check it out. It is a unique experience, it has to be said. I see there's a few things going on in the chat here about AI. I've got to answer this, Mr. Chris 5254. Yeah, what happened to CSL? Now, there was a budget guitar brand. I had a CSL Strat copy in the early 80s, and I was really pleased with it because it looked like one of the. If you watch the Alchemy live video with Dire Straits, Mark Knopfler plays two different Schecter. I think the Schecter Strats on that in that concert. He plays like a red one and a sunburst one, and my CSL Strat copy looked, if you kind of half closed your eyes, like Mark Knopfler's sunburst Strat. So I was very, very, very proud of that guitar. Let's have a look. I see. Well, the Lamb. I've got a few super chats here. Sorry, chaps. I was so busy blethering, I didn't notice them. Paul Trainer BSC, thank you so much, mate. That is very generous of you. And Raymondo Alrex, please put out whatever topics you like. It's the only thing that works, mate. Putting out. If you try and do a video about something you're not interested in, it comes across, and it is. You just come across as being a bit insincere. There's one or two videos I've done like that where I just needed to crank out some content, and I think it shows, and they didn't get particularly good views. So that's a rule that I've implemented, and I've told all the staff. The Lamb, thanks for all the support. You did get a special mention this week. I'll email you a link after the show. Thank you, mate. And another live stream that I didn't catch up with today because I've been busy, it has to be said. I'll tell you what I've been busy with, was Mr. Steve Cassidy's live that he usually does on a Thursday evening. I usually watch it on a Friday as I'm sat downstairs with a laptop. I'll have the laptop on me knee. I'll have the YouTube on the big TV, and I usually catch Steve's the replay of Steve's live stream. But something got in the way this week. It's just I was elbow deep in something where I needed to concentrate on it, so I couldn't watch it. Sorry, Steve. I think he's out gigging tonight, so he won't be here. I'll tell him I did watch it. What the hell? He's not here. So we've got Dingers 63. Michael Purcell is saying next week's content. I'm coming to that, mate. I'm coming to that. In fact, I'm coming to it now. Let's tell you what's coming up. Got some notes here. I've written stuff down. How organised am I? On Sunday, the review of the guitar that you saw me do my first impressions of yesterday, that Solo King review. Let's see if with a bit of tweaking and a bit of fettling, I can get a decent tone out of those Entwistle pickups. It was a struggle in the initial first impressions review. So let's see what Sunday brings for that. Excuse me. Then on Monday, a new series of videos begins. Yes, we're opening a new chapter, folks. I put a little thing out a few weeks ago about the Monday solo analysis videos. They weren't getting the sort of views that they used to get. I was just thinking, am I starting to scrape the barrel here? Shall I just kind of give this a rest for a while? And the overwhelming response was, still do them, but like not as often. So that's what I'm going to do. But in the intervening, basically what I'm going to do is the classic solo analysis is going to be every other week now for the foreseeable future. And on the alternating weeks, starting with this coming Monday, I'm going to be doing like a real from the ground up basics, how to play a lead guitar. Just kind of right from somebody who's never ever played any kind of lead guitar before. We're going to be looking right from the sort of the brass tacks entry level way of playing lead guitar. I did a similar video to this with Johnny from Budget Guitar Show a few months ago, and it got a really good reception. So I've been looking for an excuse to kind of dive into doing something a little bit more, a little bit more in depth, shall we say, like a series of videos. So that's coming up on Monday. Then Tuesday, a top 5 list. And this is another one that's been on the back burner for a while. These top 5 lists, I often have, I'll get to 3 or 4 in the list, and it'll be a topic I really want to talk about. And it's just like, I can't quite make my mind up what number 5 is going to be, or what numbers 4 and 5 are going to be. But I finally got it nailed down. And this coming week's top 5 Tuesday video is the 5 topics that guitar players love to argue about. And it was which ones do I miss out, frankly, of that list. So yeah, that's what's coming up on Tuesday. Then Wednesday, another rhythm guitar lesson. That's a series which again is drawing to a close, because when I look back at the 26 or 20 odd lessons, it's about 6 months worth of Rhythm Wednesday lessons that I've done, sort of with a break in between when I went to viewers' questions for a couple of years, actually. But the Rhythm Wednesday videos are coming to a close in the next few weeks, shall we say. But one thing I haven't covered in those yet is triads. So that's what we're going to be looking at on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, I've gone wireless again. I had some cheap bargain basement wireless kind of receiver, dongle and transmitter that I used for a couple of years, that I bought for about 30 quid on Amazon, and they worked fine right up until the moment where they didn't, when they just stopped and died on me. So I went back to using a cable. But I go through so many guitar cables, I cannot tell you. I absolutely kill the damn things, because I'm in a chair, an office chair, which has wheels on it and a guitar cable kind of across the floor. It just, the chair goes over the cable half a dozen times, and that's bye-bye cable, basically. So I've gone wireless again. Gone a little bit more upmarket this time. Not a lot. I haven't gone to some sort of ridiculously expensive thing. But Thursday is my first impressions of of my new wireless system. So that's what's coming up on the channel this week. Oh, there's Mr. Cassidy. There he is. Happy Friday, Fattercasters. Sozlate, lurking background, packing for the gig. No, hope. I think that's Scottish for everybody. Yes, nice one, Steve. I'll be catching up with your live stream later. I'll probably watch it while Mrs. Fattercaster is watching Coronation Farm or EastEnders Street or whatever she watches on a Friday. I usually kind of laptop on my knee, earbuds in, and let her get on with it. That is, of course, if Dougal gives me permission. Dougal's got a new squeaky ball, and it's the best thing in the world, apparently. He's just squeaky, 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 and you've got to kind of play with him with it. So hopefully I've got him tired out today, because that was another thing that I've been on with today. Anyway, let's just catch up a little bit more in the chat. And see, we've got Glenn Bailey in. Nice to see you, mate. What else have I missed? Because it's like if Rick Beato has a whole army of people just kind of keeping an eye on the chat and passing him notes or letting him know whatever in some way. This is just me. I'm just kind of winging it. There was a bit of chat kind of eons ago in the stream about AI music, and I missed out on that. But I think the general kind of consensus was, what about AI in music? I don't give a monkey's uncle about it. I really don't. It's in the same. It's a technological development, and there will be music made via AI, and I'm sure it will. Well, to be honest with you, AI, what is it? Has any artificial intelligence actually passed that Turing test yet? The Turing test, Alan Turing, Codebreaker, World War II. He postulated that when there will come a point when technology has advanced to such a point that you can have a conversation with a machine and not be able to tell that you're not speaking to a human being. Have we achieved that yet? I know it's a subjective thing, but at some point it will, and at some point AI, artificial intelligence, will start creating music if it hasn't already. Maybe it has. I'm just not plugged into that whole world because I've got that much interest in it, to be honest with you. But I don't care. In the same way as, somebody who's into, I don't know, shall we say, Baroque music. How much interest do you think they have in advancements in guitar amplifier modeling technology? It's just, music is a very personal thing. I like what I like. No one can take that away from me. And the music that I love, even if not one single bar of music that is in the style that I like ever gets written ever again, I don't care, because I've got a massive backlog of stuff that not only that I already know about that I can listen to and enjoy, but there are loads of bands that I've kind of bypassed me along the way, that I've never really kind of taken notice of, that I can go back and try and discover. Bands that I've sort of listened to and never quite got into. Rush spring to mind. I'm going to have another go at trying to get into their music, at some point. Alice in Chains, there's a band that everybody seems to rave about, and I've never knowingly heard any of their stuff. I think it was because in the 90s when they came out, they got sort of lumped in with the grunge thing, and I was just a little bit, okay, I'm a bit lukewarm on that, so I never really went down that path. But, loads and loads of stuff that's already out there that I haven't yet discovered. So I'm just, that'll keep me going for the rest of my days, to be honest. Malcolm Spillett saying, I need a good wireless system at a reasonable price. I too have an office chair versus the cable problem. Well, little bit of a spoiler alert. So if you don't want to know what I think of the new wireless, then there is a 5.8 gigahertz Legato wireless system that you can get on Amazon for about 50 quid. And I've been using it now for a few weeks. I do guitar lessons in here all day, every day, from about 8 o'clock on a morning till 8 on an evening. And I turn it off when I'm not using it. Okay, it's not switched on for 12 hours a day, so I turn it off when I'm not using it. But the battery life is absolutely fine for that. I easily get through each day unscathed without flattening the battery, and the range is pretty good as well, which is one of the things that I test, not in Thursday's video, but in the full review video. So, I think it's the Legato Lekato WS90 wireless system, and they're on Amazon, about 50 quid. You can't go wrong so far anyway. And even if it lasts a year, even if that wireless system lasts a year and you have to buy another one, that's still less per year than I was spending on bloody guitar cables that I was knackering. Mr. Chris 5254 is saying, when I do the review on the Framers, Alice in Chains use one. Oh, that's fair enough, mate. I didn't know that. Anyway, yes, because I've got a Framers review coming up, but that's going to be a little while away yet. Marie Muggs Davis is saying, AI is very scary. Is it? Maybe I'm just blissfully ignorant about it then, because it's hard to be scared of something that you're ignorant of. And as I say, because it holds that much interest for me, then I'm quite ignorant on it. Let's just open a Explorer window here and go to my YouTube folder. And in the YouTube folder, there is a live stream folder. And in the live stream folder, there is a viewers guitar pictures folder. So that's that point in the show, chaps. We're going to have a look at some viewers' guitar picks. Let me just close down a few of these other windows here that I don't need open. I don't need that, and I don't need that. And then navigate back to StreamYard. Here we go. And let's do a little bit of screen sharing and take a look at some of the pictures that you've sent in this week. This is another one from David Phillips. Absolute props to David Phillips here, because this is how he sends his guitar pictures in. He does like a full-on kind of information pack for them. This is a Westfield E4000 Les Paul copy circa 2012. They were a Scottish firm which had these Les Paul style guitars made in Korea between 2011 and 2013. They're not cheap. 1970s plywood model. Westfield only ceased trading in 2013. This E4000 bolt-on neck. Okay, Les Paul with a bolt-on neck. That does carry something of a whiff of the 1970s kind of thing about it, and it looks like he's done a proper full-on restore of this. We've got some Epiphone Pro Booker pickups in it by the look of it. I won't read you the whole thing because it would take a little bit long, but the amount of information and the amount of work that David puts into these pictures is to be commended. Let's move on and see what we've got in the next slide. Oh, this is David James's East Coast Telly. Now, this is an Anderton's brand. I mistakenly said that the Solo King guitar was an Anderton's brand. It isn't. It's just that they're the distributor. And I will, again, mistakenly say in Sunday's video that it's an Anderton's in-house brand, because I made that video before I found out. That's a nice-looking budget telly, has to be said. David assures me is well spec'd and it plays pretty well. So 99 quid, you can't go wrong for something like that. Certainly better than a £99 guitar from yesteryear. Then we've got another David James. This is his Epiphone Dot. I've got to tell you, that finish there is doing something for me. When you think of like a 335 style guitar, you always tend to think of it in that sort of cherry finish, don't you? That red finish. But that's just, I think that's looking pretty classy there. Nice looking guitar, yes indeed. Almost giving me gas for another semi-solid guitar, but yeah, they're not really my cup of tea. I like the idea of this style of guitar more than I like the reality of owning one. But that is no taking away from that. That is a gorgeous looking instrument. And then this is the Len McIver Lencaster. We featured Len's rig on the in this section of the stream. Was it last week or the week before, where he was using the Jim's 45 pedal into that orange power amp? Can't remember what it's called, but the basically the pedal platform power amp that Orange do. And there was just a little bit of a corner of this guitar in the picture, and this is the guitar itself. The fact that it's a Lencaster, I believe, indicates that it is like a parts caster that Len's put together, and looks the part, doesn't it? I like the scratch plate with Lencaster there. I think that's a nice touch. Then Mark Faze, his Gibson 1950s Gibson L4 with the Charlie Christian pickup. That is a pickup that I've never. I don't think I've ever used a guitar that's got one of those pickups on. But I did see, who was it? Can't remember. Some YouTube guitar player had one of those Charlie Christian pickups in the neck position on a Telecaster, and it just looked the coolest thing ever. But this is a lovely looking guitar. The definition of a proper jazz box, isn't it? Yeah, I'd love to play something like that. Anyway, another Mark Fay guitar. His Tokai Breezy Sound, and yeah, lovely looking guitar. I mean, those Tokai guitars, the made in Japan ones. I've got MIH here. So let me just have a look at it. Yeah, I can tell what I've done there. I've meant to type MIJ for made in Japan, and typo error as I'm kind of hurriedly typing. I've hit the H key rather than the J key because it's next to each other. But this is, if I'm correct on that theory, this is Mark Fay's made in Japan Tokai Breezy sound. I mean, those were the days, weren't they, when the excuse me, hay fever. When Tokai were kind of showing Fender and Gibson the way home. Tokai, people often ask me what are influential guitar brands, and I always include Tokai in that list because without Tokai you wouldn't have had Squier, I think, and you certainly wouldn't have had the Gibson Epiphone iterations where they were basically Gibson, the big two, Gibson and Fender, started realizing that they needed to make decent guitars and make them affordable. Otherwise, people were just going to go to manufacturers like Tokai. Anyway, a mate of David Phillips, whose Westfield guitar you saw earlier, is called Richard, and I've got a few pictures of his guitars. This is his homemade Fender in inverted commas Jaguar, made with genuine Fender parts and a custom painted body. This guitar cost more to build at home than if it were bought from the shop. Also, it caused Richard some difficulty because the wiring is rather complicated, and even now he isn't entirely satisfied with it, but it does look fabulous. Fabulous is a subjective thing. My views on Fender offset guitars and the aesthetics of them are well known. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and I'm afraid it isn't in the eye of this beholder, but it does float some people's boat. So if that's you, then feast your eyes. And another one of Richard's guitars, his Epiphone SG Special Vintage Edition. Worn walnut effect. These are cheap as chips with no varnish. Poplar bodies walnut is just a colour description, and with a bolt on neck. Don't diss a bolt on neck. These are great players. I can vouch for this. One of my students, a young chap who comes to me every Thursday tea time for a lesson, has one of these. And I've had a little bit of a play of it, and it is a nice feeling, nice playing guitar. Pickups are a little bit cheap sounding, but that's an easy fix, isn't it? So I'm with you on that one, David. And then a certain Mr. Bald, who's in the chat at the moment. This is his collection. What have we got? We've got a G&L Comanche. We've got an Epiphone 1960s Tribute Plus. We've got a Yamaha Revstar RSS, something or other, can't read that from here. An Ibanez AR420 VLS, a Harley Benton SC550 EMG model, an Ibanez AS9 whatever VLS. I do wish guitar manufacturers would give their guitars names rather than an alphanumeric code that sounds like it could be, describing a fax machine, if anyone remembers those. And then another one from Mr. Boulder. This is a guitar that you've seen on this channel. This is the Harley Benton SC550 SL, the no longer available, as far as I'm aware, / Harley Benton Tribute model. Rob had he basically saw this for sale on social media, and it was local to me, so he pinged me the money, and I bought it, and it's finally made its way up to Mr. Balder again, and he seems quite happy with it. It's a lovely looking thing, isn't it? Has to be said. I did a couple of videos with this on the channel, and I thought it was a lovely guitar anyway. Excuse me. I need some more lubrication. Balder's saying that's just the tip of the iceberg. Jay Aoyong is saying, actually, chips are getting damn expensive these days. I can vouch for that, mate. I can honestly vouch for that. Yesterday, I had a solid block of lessons from about 3 p.m. till 8 p.m. No time for an evening meal, in other words. So what I tend to do under such circumstances is I'll either bring a sandwich up to me desk up here, but I'd already done that once this week, so I didn't want to do it again. Other times, what we'll do is we'll go and me and the missus will go and get fish and chips from the local fish and chip shop, Seabreeze. It's just around the corner, great fish and chip shop. And the portions are generous, shall we say. Fish and chips twice from that chip shop round the corner, right? £19. Well, £18 something. It was rounded up, call it £19. When I was a kid, if you'd gone to the fish and chip shop and asked for £19 worth of fish and chips, they'd have had to shut. It was, it just, yeah. I mean, it used to be one of the cheapest takeout meals you could get, but the price is increasing, and it's not the chips that are the problem. It's the fish. I can't remember where I read this, but it was on some news site or something like that, where they were talking about the price of cod in the UK now, pound for pound, is not far off the price of fillet steak. And yeah, we live in an island. We used to be surrounded by it. I suspect this could get a little bit political, though, if I pull at that thread too much, and I'm not going to do that. So, but yeah, fish and chips, expensive meal now. Lammy makes a good point there. The cost of energy is a big impact too. Running the fryers costs many times what it used to. Yeah. Michael Purcell, what you saying there, mate? Would you ever do a video about how much revenue you make from your higher views? No, because it's just not. I'll kind of describe it in vague terms, but it's. I'm not going to start talking about what I earn, basically, because that's just not something I'm comfortable discussing in public and putting out there. And I just don't think it's, a thing that is up for public discussion. What I will say is that it breaks down like this. Okay. In broad terms, YouTube pays the grocery bills in this house. Patreon tends to pay. Patreon plus some of me publishing money from courses and book sales and stuff tends to pay the mortgage. Lessons tend to take care of the rest of the household bills and give us a little, like, the rest of the household bills, like insurance and paying for just the general kind of stuff that you do running a house, like your Sky TV or your Netflix subscription and all of those kind of things. That's what I mean about, like, rest of the household bills and beer and stuff. And that's kind of how it breaks down. And I'm quite fortunate in the fact that when YouTube tends to dip a little bit, one of the other kind of revenue streams will usually take in the slack. But as in sort of discussing the specifics of it, no, that's between me and me tax return, I'm afraid. So have a look, see what else have I missed. Dave Lewis is saying, and you live up north, fish and chips is a staple diet. In this part of the world, mate, the local delicacy is a dish called the parmo. Google it if you're not sure what that is. But anyway, I'm just going to have a wee drink. Eric Luttinger is just saying, I went and got 2 meatball hoagies from the local deli. Not sure. I don't know what a meatball hoagie is, but I like the sound of it. And it was $30 US. Yeah, it's, the thing is, a takeout meal, a takeaway meal is something of a treat. And you don't mind paying a little bit extra for a treat. It's just that, going to the fish and chip shop was always the cheapest treat. that you could get. It wasn't as expensive as, say going for a curry. The problem is going for a curry, when you go to pick it up, you always kind of sit there in the lobby and have like 3 or 4 pints. Well, I always do 3 or 4 pints of Cobra, and that's what tends to make a curry expensive. Robert Forsyth, fish and chips, hey lad, look she, when I were a lad, yes. Dave Lewis, chip van outside my primary school on a Friday. We used to get a penny worth of chips on the way home and didn't need dinner in the 60s. Yes, I remember again another. I don't know if this is a particularly northern thing or whether it's a UK wide thing, because I'm not particularly well travelled in the UK. But a chip butty. There's a particular kind of bread in this part of the world that you get. It's called a stotty cake, which is just basically a big bread bun, but it's a bread bun the size of a dinner plate. And they used to kind of slather that with butter and stuff it full of chips with loads of salt and vinegar and ketchup. And that was always, you used to go dodge out of the school on a lunchtime because there'd be something revolting on the school dinners menu, like liver and onions or something like that. And, dodge around to the chip shop and get one of these chip butties for 30 pence. Oh, dear me. And, and you'd go home on the evening because you'd be reeking of chip shop vinegar, because it does have a particular aroma. And your mother would always say, have you been eating fish and chips again for your dinner? No. Austin Barrett saying, you live by the sea, get a rod. I went fishing once and the only thing I caught was a cold. The bizarre thing is I do like watching that fishing show on the TV, with Paul Whitehouse and Bob Mortimer. I do like watching that, but I went fishing once and I spent a day absolutely bored out of my skull, cold, and just I thought, this is not a pastime for me. Cal B in the Rocco Cat saying, I think it's a make people cook again conspiracy. I love cooking. It's, I've shared a couple of videos about my recipes, and they're, again, not great performing videos, so I don't think I'll be doing any more of those. But I did it. It's getting around to that time of year when I can cook the kind of food that I like to do, like big, slow cooker casseroles and stews and that sort of stuff. Just good, hearty, warming food. Balder, I'm going to put this up on the screen, mate. A blonde went a fishing weekend with 2 builders, and all she came back with was a red snapper. Yes, that's a Finbar Saunders double entendres joke, isn't it, Rob? Let's have a look. Yeah, you usually don't have funny, talented people with you when fishing. Yeah, that is the. Where's that gone? Ooh, matron. That is the nub of that Mortimer and Whitehouse show, isn't it? It's just the banter between the two guys. The actual kind of chucking a line of string into a fast-moving rivet to haul out the fish, which you then hold up for the camera and put it back. It's just never seemed like a particularly engaging pastime for me. Much the same as golf, it has to be said. I used to work for a company where once you got beyond a certain level in the corporate structure, and the last 6 months I was there, I did get beyond this certain level in the corporate structure. It was kind of hinted at rather strongly that your presence was required every now and again on a Saturday morning to go and do a round of golf with the managing director. I did it once. Oh, dear me. Never again. who was it? Was it Mark Twain who described it as a good walk spoiled? Yeah, I'm all with that. And I don't think it went down rather well. That I was saying, oh, which bat do I need to use for this one? It's when the ball went into a hole, I shouted "goal" like that. It didn't go down well. And I don't think it wasn't that I wasn't invited back. I chose never to go back, and if that harms me career prospects, well, so be it. And I was made redundant about 6 months later. Johnny D is saying Philistine. What are you saying there, Jay? How young? £20. Wow, that's crazy. I was referring to a bag of potato chips, actually. Branded ones like Kettle and Tyrrell's cost as much as a proper meal here. Wow. Okay. That's something else I've noticed. I was talking about this in the video yesterday. That Solo King guitar in Desert Sand colour. It's a gold finish. Can we just call it a gold finish? And the Kia Sportage guitar car. If the factory shuts down, does that create a shortage? That's happening with potato crisps and flavours. Do you remember when it just used to be cheese and onion, and now it's mature cheddar and caramelized onion, or balsamic vinegar and sea salt, or Canadian ham, and it just can we just go back to what the old crisp flavors, please? My favorite crisp flavor is Walkers do one called Sensations, where they call it balsamic vinegar and caramelized onion flavor. It's the old pickled onion flavor crisps. Remember we used to get those? Absolute favorite flavor of crisps, those pickled onion flavored crisps. Fantastic. Now you got to pay 3 times as much for them, and they come with a Ponzi name on the bag. What else have I missed? Let's have a quick look. There we go. There is a minor difference between fishing and standing on the bank looking like an idiot. Yes, I think I know which side of the equation I was on that one, mate. David Evans' sausage in batter is always a staple from me, with a chip shop and scallops and curry sauce. Oh, you can keep your scallops, mate. Yes. Shellfish, no, not for me. But because the fish is getting so expensive nowadays, most of the time when I go to the fish and chip shop, it's battered sausage, chips and gravy. What I say in all the videos, come and join us for the Friday live stream every Friday, 5 p.m. UK time, where we talk about music and guitars and many, many other things. This is into the many, many other things, isn't it? It's part of the equation where we're talking about, kind of a peculiarly English thing of like what's on the menu at a fish and chip shop. Peter Nicholson saying, will not buy Walkers because of Lineker. Yes, he is a bit of a... well, I can't say what I think of Gary Lineker. Apparently he was very, very good when he was making a living, kicking a ball for a living. Not that I'm into watching people kicking balls, but apparently some people are, and he was very good at it and made a lot of money at it. And these days he tends to like to think of himself as the conscience of the nation on social media. Apparently, I don't know, I'm not on social media, so I don't care. But he is he's the sort of bloke you'd fall out with, or certainly I would anyway, and that's as much as I'm going to say on the matter. The boy stood on the burning deck, eating a bag of scallops. One fell down the front of his trousers and burnt him on the knee. Yes, I like your rhyming scheme there, mate. Peter Collins is saying scallops are in a chippy are big slices of potato, battered and fried. Yeah, you see, this is a regional thing. We don't have those here. Certainly not on Teesside. We just don't have that I thought scallops were like, those kind of disgusting things that you dig out of a shell, and basically crustaceans of some kind. Which, let's not forget, they're just insects that evolved to live underwater. People are saying, do you want some of this crab? No, because I don't eat spiders. Thank you very much. Dave Lewis, bring back Bovril crisps. Bovril. Who still enjoys a mug of Bovril? I still do from time to time. It's just one of those kind of tastes of your childhood, isn't it? I remember I used to go when I was 11 years old. I used to the school I was at. We had our own swimming pool, and they used to do like a swimming club on a Monday night, on a Monday evening, Monday after school, anyway. And so you'd kind of basically go and have a lark about in the pool on a Monday for a couple of hours after school. And there was the sort of snack bar that was part of the pool kind of building. And there was this old lady working behind the snack bar, and she used to serve us mugs of steaming hot Bovril after we'd been swimming. It was fantastic. Still enjoy it from time to time. Balder64 had Bovril from a flask on the beach last Saturday. Bovril, for our international audience, Bovril is like a concentrated meat consommé or whatever it's called, and it comes like in a big gloop in a jar that you kind of scoop like a spoonful out and kind of put it into a mug, pour on boiling water, and you get this lovely beefy kind of warming drink. Oh, it's gorgeous. Anyway, what else have we got to talk about? As I say, we're very much into the whatever else to talk about part of the stream. Yeah, Balder64. Yes, I'm not going to put that up on the screen, but I know what you mean about Gary Lineker. Let's have a look. Anything guitar related to talk about in the chat? Ian Clark saying pickled onion monster munch too for me. Love a scallop dish too. Well, yes, okay, mate. Chris Otterwell used to work at Tudor Crisps in Peterlee when I was a student. Ate my fill every day. Boulder64, Bovril is reduced cow. Yes, it is. Let's have a look. Bovril is meat treacle, says the lamb. Chris from Coburg, how about Marmite? Marmite is a divisive issue in this house. I love the stuff. I absolutely adore it. I could eat it from the jar with a spoon. Marmite is a peculiar thing. It's entirely vegetarian or vegan, but it's probably one of the most meatiest flavors that you can imagine. It's high in that umami flavor. That one that's like the kind of that is apparently quite meaty. It's just yeast extract. It's basically made from brewer's yeast. I love the stuff, spread thickly on toast, and love the stuff. But if I've had a couple of slices of Marmite on toast, I can't go within 100 yards of the missus. You've been eating that disgusting stuff again, haven't you? Yeah, it is a divisive thing. But anyway, chaps, 59 minutes and 50 seconds. I think that's about time to wrap things up. Thank you once again for turning up and watching a fat, bald lad from up north talk absolute cobblers for an hour, more so than usual this week. It's been a blast, and I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me. But for now, time, gentlemen, please.